Let's talk with conservative Generation Z contributor for Turning Point USA, Morgan McMichael. Welcome to Victory News. Morgan, President Biden's classified documents problem keeps growing, and now we learn of an undisclosed search by the FBI back in November. Do you think Joe Biden and his son Hunter will be able to skate through all this unscathed?
See, I'm actually not surprised at all that there was this investigation that took place, and I'm also not surprised that these documents were discovered, because here's the thing: is the Biden administration and their family have gotten away with so many things. I mean, conservatives have been questioning the Biden family since day one when it comes to Hunter's laptop, when it comes to these documents, yet it seems like nothing's been done. So I'm very curious to see what is going to happen, but I honestly think it's just going to be a slap on the wrist.
Now, you heard the Department of Defense Diversity and Inclusion Officer's tweet saying, "I am exhausted by 99% of the white men and 95% of the white women. Where can I get a break from the white nonsense for a while?" Does Ms. Wing and her comments seem like the right professional representation for the Department of Defense?
Absolutely not. This woman is highly unprofessional and unqualified for this position. She is the epitome of pushing critical race theory in public schools across the country. She's written books about white privilege, Black Lives Matter, how to be anti-racist. Yet this woman is a racist herself and has been shown discriminating against other races. So I just find it quite ironic that this woman is being put in charge of education, especially K through 12, and is pushing this kind of rhetoric online.
And the U.S. Surgeon General took on social media and their recommendation that kids can begin using the services at age 13. Here's one of his comments to CNN.
We have some of the best designers and product developers in the world who have designed these products to make sure people are maximizing the amount of time they spend on these platforms. And if we tell a child, use a force of your willpower to control how much time you're spending, you're pitting a child against the world's greatest product designers, and that's just not a fair fight.
So, Morgan, do you agree with the Surgeon General?
I honestly do. Being a part of Gen Z, I've had an iPhone since I was 13, was on Instagram, and I saw the harmful effects of social media in my own life. And now kids are just younger and younger getting addicted to their phones. We've seen even the harmful effects of TikTok and what that's doing to young kids. Now, also, I think that the government is utilizing these social media platforms push their agenda onto our next generation and be able to kind of control what they're thinking. They're really teaching them what to think instead of how to think and being a free thinker. So when we look at social media, it's absolutely plaguing our generation. People are addicted to their phones. They're seeing the information there, and it definitely needs to change. And I think it's up to the parents to monitor the content that their kids are consuming.
And when do you think an adolescent should be allowed to begin using social media?
I mean, honestly, maybe 13, 14 at this rate. I mean, kids are on YouTube Kids. We're seeing the drag and LGBTQ stuff being pushed to 3, 4, 5-year-olds. So at this point, I think it shouldn't even be till they're older. I don't even think kids should even be on social media or have access to these items. I don't want to raise my kids in a digital generation, especially with what's going on the internet. So maybe even high school, but I know that's not going to happen, especially with the government.
Now, you were in Davos, Switzerland, covering the World Economic Forum. What were your impressions of the event and its goals?
Everything that we talk about on this show, the top 8 things: they want to attack Western civilization. They want us to eat less meat. They want to control our media consumption and everything in our entire country. But America is in the way of that. So we saw a lot of propaganda walking down the promenade. These people that are promoting borders are protected behind a gate that I couldn't even gain access to. So it was a lot of hypocrisy. I mean, talk about the carbon emissions. They're flying in on private jets to a helicopter pad and then privately shuttled in their Mercedes vehicles. And so all these people who want you to own nothing and be happy are there living the best lives. So it's really just a whole lot of hypocrisy. It was crazy to see, but it was a great experience.
Last quick question. Alejandro Mayorkas, do you think he is going to have an opportunity to survive with this new Republican-led House? And I guess the fact that he's changed his mind and he's going to allow some frontline Border Patrol agents to testify, that's really going to open the eyes, I think, of a lot of American people if they pay attention to these upcoming hearings.
Absolutely. I think honestly, it wasn't enough. We've seen in Texas, I live in Arizona now, the open border problem is a real problem with illegals flooding into our country. So I think it's a little too late. And I mean, we've seen Governor Abbott do a lot. We've seen Arizona do a lot. And so we really just need to close that border and get some answers here because what they're doing is just not enough. We're under an invasion.
Morgonn, as a Turning Point USA contributor, what are you accomplishing among college-age youth on our campuses around the country?
So this year I visited over 20 campuses and I ask a lot of very culture-based questions to these kids just to see what is really the indoctrination looking like in our country. And it is very clear that a lot of these students are so lost. We're living in a godless society where these young adults really have no moral backing and all of their information is really just coming from social media and their degrees. And I am very much on the train that college is a scam, like Charlie Kirk says. So when I'm on these campuses, my goal is really to equip and empower these students, especially the ones that come to our speaking events, to go out there and make change on their campuses, to get involved, have those difficult conversations, and really just empower them to do something in their community. Because at the end of the day, it's going to take all of us to get together and have these discussions.
So, Morgonn, do you find that faith in God is part of the lives of Gen Zers?
I definitely think it needs some work. There needs to be more God in our society. I mean, Gen Z statistically is on the decline of religion, and we need to bring prayer back in schools.
All right, thank you for that, Morgonn.